It's crazy right now. And you can't spell the word pandemic without the word panic. And there's a lot going on, a lot of news, a lot of announcements about school closures and travel limitations and the spread of this pandemic that's going on right now. But I wanted to share a little bit about what I'm going to try to do to still be productive during this time frame. So on the other side of this economic downturn, this rush to the store to buy toilet paper, what we can do as individuals, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as creatives, what we can do to weather this time and hopefully come out on the other side of it better off than if you just kind of hunkered down, quarantined and chilled, and watched a lot of TV. Now is most definitely a time for being prepared. And I don't just mean getting a bunch of frozen food or canned goods and stocking up. I mean, how can we prepare ourselves for the other side of this pandemic, the other side of this economic downturn, so that we come out of it better off than how we went into it? A lot of the external precautions and measures put in place by governments to shut down public gatherings and events and sports and all of that is definitely going to affect you either directly or indirectly in some way. Chances are there are events or conferences you're planning to attend that have been canceled already. So those networking opportunities with your peers or potential customers or just companies you can partner with are now basically gone. You might have a product that you would promote that's delayed now. You might have a product of your own, a physical product or something that's entirely delayed. That's the case I'm in right now with SwitchPod. Some of our timelines are getting shifted because of coronavirus. And so in this kind of time frame, what can you do individually or as a company or as a worker at a company to make sure that you can kind of weather this storm? Because during this time frame, people, individuals, consumers, and companies are going to tighten their wallets. They're going to find ways to cut costs just like they did in 2008 or after 9/11. They're going to use this time as not an excuse, but as a reason to kind of look at all the ways they're spending money, maybe trim the fat is the term that they might use, or just to shut off spending completely in advertising, in partnerships, in sending out products to YouTubers, into what have you. There are going to be a lot of ways that companies are cutting back, as well as consumers that don't know if they're going to keep their job or what kind of job security they have through all of this. They're going to tighten their wallets too. So what can we do as individuals, creatives, as people working at a company? What can we do to come out on the other end of this successfully? Okay, let's get into some of that. Whether you're now forced to work at home or you've been sent home from school or just maybe all your business is dried up and your contracts have been canceled and you just have a big open schedule right now, whatever situation you're in, this is a good time to take back control on your time and how you spend it. First and foremost, yes, you have to take care of yourself and your family, take the precautions you need to be safe, to have enough food and water and medicine and those things kind of stocked up for yourself, not get into a fight at Costco. All of those things are important. So those precautions should happen first. But after that, if you're like me, you've probably checked the news more in the past week or so than you did all of 2019. And that, to me, needs to stop. It's important to be informed. I think it's very important to know what's going on, to get informed from multiple sources, or at least the key main important sources like the CDC or the World Health Organization. But the constant news checking, at least for me, is not mentally helping me at all. And it's not helping me get actual work done or spend quality time with my family that I'm self-quarantining with. So less news checking, less checking out, and more checking into something that you can control and something you can move forward towards. So I want to talk through kind of the hierarchy that I think it's important to spend time during downtime. And the first part is basically distraction. And so news to me is starting to fall into this category where I feel like I know what COVID-19 is. I know what I can do individually to protect myself and my family and my immediate surroundings and friends from the virus, but I'm just checking it now as a distraction to hear the latest celebrity or politician or whoever that might have been in contact with the disease, or what this country is doing, or what that state is closing, or what events are being canceled. And at this point, I don't feel like checking it as frequently as I am is helping at all. I think maybe it's a once a day, a twice a day thing from one or two sources, or maybe your spouse or an immediate friend is the person that you trust to kind of comb through everything and send it your way. Maybe your parents are doing that to you already. Whatever it is, I think that it's very important that you don't take news to a distraction point and you just use news as an information point. The other side of distraction is just hanging out, just watching Netflix, just watching, well, there's not much on TV. It's really only news right now. So there's no sports. There's nothing like that. That's a normal distraction. Maybe playing video games is a big distraction for you. Great. This might be a good time where if you're stressed out, if you're struggling mentally and you just need a little bit of an escape, that's fine. But to do that all day, every day right now isn't going to be healthy, because you're just going to come out on the other side of this and you're not going to have taken control of what you could actually do proactively to come out on the other side of this better off. So if just distracting yourself is one of the lower quality uses of your time right now, I think the next one up would be to kind of audit what's going on in your life or in your work. So that would be just kind of like get settled. So if your house is in disarray, or there's like this closet you've been meaning to go through, or on the work end of things, like get through your inbox, go through your task management system if it's just completely fallen apart, and figure out what's actually important for you to do. Maybe you've accumulated way too much gear and equipment and you want to get rid of some of it. Reorganize that, make a pile for what you're going to sell. Maybe try to sell it now. Maybe people aren't going to be wanting to buy that stuff on eBay right now. Who knows? But the act of going through and kind of auditing your life or your work or your possessions of your space, that can help you feel calmer, first of all, for one thing. You know, having a clean desk, having a clean house, having a clean workspace, that gives you a sense of control over your environment when you externally are not maybe feeling that from the news, from the health stuff that's going on in the world right now. So kind of doing an audit, I think, is the next productive, but not as productive as some of the other things we're going to be talking about shortly, but it's still an effective way to take control of your life, of your situation, of your environment, versus distracting yourself the whole time. An even better use of your time, I think, beyond that, maybe you've got completely settled, everything is clean, everything's organized, all your systems are in place, you've got through your inbox, whatever it is that you wanted to kind of get through to feel settled. The next most important way you can use your time, I think, is to learn something new. The goal here is twofold. It's number one, growth. So if you go through a time period, let's say this thing lasts a couple weeks. Maybe you're working from home for 2-3 months. Who knows what it is? You want to have developed something during that time frame other than just consumption of not just food and alcohol, but like information, books, movies, what have you. Consume something that can actually be productive. So to me, that's learning a skill, maybe. So if you are really into photography, maybe you've never done time-lapse photography. Go do that. Stay 6 feet away from people and do some time-lapse photography. Maybe it's night photography. Maybe it's portrait photography, something indoors, fully controlled. Order some flashes and start playing with things. Whatever it is, think about what skill you could develop. Or maybe that's a piece of software. Maybe you've been meaning to switch to a higher end piece of video editing software. You've really wanted to use DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro 10, whatever it is. And now would be a great time to learn about that. If you're in the financial situation where you probably shouldn't be buying a course on that, there are a lot of free trainings on the internet, on YouTube, wherever, but maybe this is the time to invest in a course. Maybe this is the time to invest in learning that next thing now that you have this free time. In a way, this can also be a distraction though, so be careful that you're not just sitting and learning or feeling like you're learning because you're watching a lot of YouTube tutorials, but not actually doing anything. So I think a very important piece of this step, this learning step, is to do. So don't just watch a tutorial, then watch another tutorial and watch another tutorial. Watch a tutorial and then try to do it. Watch a tutorial and try to do it. take a course, do the exercises along the way, try to use the software on your own, and don't just treat learning as another distraction. I would say this is something that I've struggled with for sure over the years. Is I love to learn. I love to learn about filmmaking. I love to watch Hollywood behind the scenes and stuff like that. But how much of what a Hollywood set is doing is really going to impact what I do for my clients or for my YouTube videos or what have you day to day? Probably not much. So it feels like learning. It feels like a productive thing, but it might just be me slipping into that distraction stage I talked about. At the top of this hierarchy of how you can spend your time or what you should do to be productive during this kind of gap that you might be facing is to build, is to make something, is to create something. That might be a website that you've always wanted to redesign your website or what have you, or you've always had a course that you've wanted to film and get out there. Maybe now's not the best time to launch something right now, but you could build it and have it ready for when the time is right to launch a course, launch a website, launch a new product, whatever it is that you want to work on. Now would be a great time to do it. If you're trying to put out content and build an audience, I would think that people are still going to want to consume stuff. A lot of people are going to live at that bottom level. They're going to live at that distraction level. What you make might be a distraction for them, but I think if you're taking this time to build something beyond what you normally do, this might be also a great time to take a break from your normal schedule or your normal cadence, for example. So if you've been always busting it to get a video out every week or 3 podcasts up a day, whatever it is, maybe now you just say like, hey, I'm going to take a break during this time frame, make an announcement quietly, and build something so that when you come back, maybe you have an asset. So what I'm trying to do is during this time frame, I was going to already be making courses for how to make videos better. But now I feel like whether or not I make public content or not, people have enough going on. So maybe I just won't release public stuff and I'll focus on making these courses, building these assets that are going to be available for people for years to come that will help me build my business as opposed to trying to keep up with everything else that's going on right now. So for me, I'm going to try to spend as much time as I can in that building phase, try to avoid distractions as much as possible. Yeah, in the evening or to wind down for the day, or if things are really stressful, distraction is fine. But on the day-to-day or longer timeline, you want to spend time building. And if you don't know how to build those things, maybe you're spending time learning. And if you feel unsettled, maybe then you do some of the audit, some of the cleanup, some of the organization, and then try not to spend too much time distracted. My wife said something yesterday to me where she said, fear is only productive to a point. It's helpful if it's getting you to go to the grocery store and to get the food that you might need for your family or to CVS or whatever and get the meds and stuff like that if there are shortages. It's productive to a point to have a little bit of fear. Maybe the fear of losing your job will enable you to actually take action on the thing you want to do, or the fear of not getting paid by your clients will put you into action to make your own thing or make your own platform or create your own different revenue streams. So fear can be helpful to a point, but if you're not using it to energize yourself, if you're using it to kind of close in on yourself, that's not helpful. Once the fear gets you to accomplish some of the more utilitarian type tasks, it's time to regroup and move forward. Making this video was one of my first steps of getting out of that cycle of the news, out of the cycle of constantly just checking to see what's happening, but to make something. So please go do something productive. Stop consuming content for just a little bit. Close the computer, turn off the TV, put your phone away, whatever it is. Go and learn something, build something, clean up your surroundings, make you feel a little bit calmer. Because really you can only quarantine and chill for so long. And I think it's time for more action. So yeah, I think that's it. Feels good to be proactive and be making something for however many people end up consuming it after spending all this time this week worried and kind of stressed out about what was going to happen and making sure we had food and doing all the precautionary things that we need to do in this time. But I think if you've made it this far, it's time to go do something. So I'm going to I'm going to go do something. I'm actually going to film another video right now. So see you guys. And I'll put that one out too eventually. Stay calm. It's going to be all right. Cheers.